Mayday! Controls unresponsive. Tower, do you read? Shit. Comms are down.
His friend, which came as some surprise. I spoke into his eyes. I thought you died alone a long, long time ago. Oh no, never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world. I laughed and shook his hand and made my way back home. I searched for a foreign land. For years and years I roamed. I gazed and gazed stare at all the millions here. We must have died alone.
كده سامع.
V has come to.
V has come too.
Good afternoon, my friends. Daniel Miller here. How's everybody doing? Are you enjoying your Sunday? Did you have a very nice Sunday dinner? Did you go out for a stroll? Did you enjoy your gameplay? Perhaps if you were jumping into one of your favorites earlier in the day. We are starting with something very, very exciting today in order to celebrate 6 months of this channel's existence. I talked about it at length earlier this week because I was discussing it with my community members, and really we were trying to find out the best plan, the best way forward in order to progress with the channel, to celebrate the 6 months of existence, and in order to bring also some novel, innovative and interesting content. And basically I concluded that one of the best ways forward is to have this season, the season called PlayStation Now Presents. First of all, let me tell you what the PlayStation Now services really are for anyone who's not familiar. This is your proprietary Netflix for gaming, run by PlayStation, Sony PlayStation that is. So similar to Netflix, Amazon, Mubi, all the other portals which you have online, BFI player in fact as well in the UK. This is a new service, or relatively new service, that is providing you with the streams of all sorts of games which can be used instantly if you are indeed a subscriber. So for everyone who joined, you can access on PS Now. It is quite a variety, believe you me. They comprise games from the PS2 and PS3 era, so we can call them golden oldies. They have many games which are kind of geared for Asian markets, and games that are quite obscure and perhaps not really well known, or even people are not very familiar with them here in the West. And then we have the usual AAA blockbusters, and most importantly we have the Sony proprietary games, the games which you cannot play on any other platform but on your PlayStation. And these are obviously very, very valuable because you cannot access them elsewhere but here. And as a subscriber you get unlimited access to the latest remastered, polished up edition of those games, together with everything else if there is, for instance, multiplayer, as it is the case with, for instance, Elder Scrolls Online or any other shooters. So we are going to be presenting quite a selection here, and we'll start today with a wonderful Hideo Kojima's game, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. You already watched the prologue, and it is indeed one of the best I've ever seen in a video game. It continues, and it is really resemblant of Fallout. You know, when you start the game, you wake up and discovering the world which is around you. In this instance, I'll be playing the Snake, the main character, who had suffered serious injuries after a major terrorist attack. And he had been in coma for 8 years, and he just wakes up. So we've seen the first moment after he regained consciousness, and the nurses who were tending to him and his care, and we'll carry on very, very shortly with this. The reason I selected Kojima's game to start the season, and we'll have many games here presented on my channel, is very simple. Kojima and his Metal Gear Solid were one of those very big games right at the beginning of the console. For any of you perhaps of younger generation who will not be familiar, it was released in the 90s for PlayStation 1, and indeed it was giving us many hours of entertainment with a wonderful tactical shooter called Metal Gear Solid. And it was a proper stealth game where in fact you had to be thinking quite a lot in order to evade the enemy and accomplish the goal, and literally had set industry standards for many other games of a similar kind to arise in later years, one of which, and certainly very, very popular one, you would remember it, is Splinter Cell. We had quite a few in the franchise, but Metal Gear Solid started it all, and also it was your Sony proprietary game, and Kojima produced many of those just for this platform. So therefore we are going to be engaging with one of those. In fact, it's the latest Metal Gear Solid that indeed had been given the highest possible critical acclaim. So just to summarize, this is the first one in a line of many. We are going to be having other games streamed here as present on those which are present on PlayStation Now currently, and I had selected about 250 games, and not all of them can be streamed because some are not downloadable, therefore I could not do this straight off my console. And we are going to be engaging with a variety. So the first one is probably the most representative proprietary Sony game, or you could say a flagship game of Sony. Not this installment, number 5, because the one we are going to be playing indeed has been released on various platforms on September the 1st of 2015. But the previous installments, particularly the trilogy, were released just on Sony, meaning you had to be buying the platform in order to play this game. And I think as such it was, again, setting the industry standards. We know that Microsoft did exactly the same with Halo, and you know, definitely at that time a very new, innovative idea, which indeed other industry leaders were to follow. And in addition to this beautiful RPG tactical shooter, we are going to be also presenting a balanced Destiny stream. As you know, Destiny is a massive multiplayer open world tactical shooter RPG, and we want to be having a kind of addition to this. So adventure games and RPGs seem to be most appropriate to be present here, and indeed screened and streamed every day. The difference between PlayStation Now season and the rest of the regular broadcast is going to be in its duration. It will be much shorter, so it will be a bit like watching a television series. You watch 2 hours of it or an hour, and then you come back and you continue. So that is basically what I'm going to be doing every day. The PS Now season, PS Now Presents, will be streamed after my Destiny broadcasts end, and that is going to be usually during the day, roughly around 3 or 4 o'clock on any day of the week. So I'm really very curious to see how people are going to be reacting to this change, to this new introduction, and whether indeed you're going to be finding some of those games as interesting, as exciting as myself. You know, doing the same game over many months is tiring, and indeed I am a great fan of certain video games. You know that my personal favorite is Mass Effect Trilogy. I can always play it. Destiny is very close to it. We have Elder Scrolls, we have Gears of War, we have Metal Gear Solid. We can just go on and on with a variety of different titles. Fallout is there, of course. Lots of other games on PC, Xbox as well as on PlayStation 4. So principally we are going to be focusing on a variety in order to keep up with the momentum, in order to perhaps draw attention of some other gamers in the community, people who are perhaps not as keen on Destiny, and indeed to branch out and to broaden our horizon of ideas and gaming experiences. I really want to be also streaming those games that are not quite well known, and I discovered quite a selection of the games that are very popular in Japan. As you know, PlayStation is indeed based in Japan, and it is proprietary console of Sony Electronics. Therefore, lots of the games that we do not see over here in the UK and in the West are indeed distributed over there and are very popular, and they are very engaging RPGs with really good stories, beautiful animation. Some of them resemble manga, and you have also the games that are combining RPG with puzzles and fighting. I've not really played many of those, so it will be, you know, the first sort of experience for myself as well, and really look forward to that. And as I said, we are going to be also writing about this on our blog, doing some voting on Twitter, in order to get everyone's view on what you like the best. So without further ado, that's basically in a nutshell all that is going to be happening here as part of this new season, and I'm very excited about it. I think we are going to be having a lot of new followers and viewers, and we'll just broaden our horizon of ideas and contacts compared to what we've had so far, because so far everything that happened here was primarily tied to Destiny and Bungie, of course. People who are really very close to tactical shooters, and those who really love that massive big sci-fi space opera particularly Destiny, but there were people who were indeed very dedicated fans of Dead Space, of Alien Isolation, of Mass Effect Trilogy, of course, and a number of other sci-fi blockbusters. So, first of all, before we start with the game, we'll just have a look at a bit of its history. As always, I provide a detailed introduction before we commence with a new game, so this is the case today, obviously, with our beloved Metal Gear Solid 5. So, MGS 5 is called The Phantom Pain, and this is an action-adventure stealth game developed by Kojima Productions and indeed published, as always, by Konami. It was released worldwide for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360 and Xbox One on September the 1st of 2015, so it's already 3.5 years gone. It is the 9th installment in the series that was directed, written and designed by Hideo Kojima, following Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, a standalone prologue released the previous year, as well as his final work at Konami. Set in 1984, 9 years after the events of Ground Zeroes, and 11 years before the events of the original Metal Gear, the story follows mercenary leader Punished Venom Snake as he ventures into Soviet-occupied Afghanistan and the Angola-Zaire border region to exact revenge on the people who destroyed his forces and came close to killing him during the climax of Ground Zeroes. So for anyone who obviously is familiar with Ground Zeroes, you'll know what happened in there, but you know, in the introduction we'll talk about everything Metal Gear Solid related. It carries over the tagline of tactical espionage operations first used in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. I can also tell you that the other games are also present on PlayStation Now services, so for anyone who's going to love the broadcast, who's interested in Metal Gear Solid, immediately subscribe to PlayStation Now and jump in, and you can play the vast majority of those Metal Gear Solid games, which I already mentioned. So the Phantom Pain was critically acclaimed upon release, with its gameplay drawing praise for featuring a variety of mechanics and interconnected systems, which also allow a high degree of player freedom in approaching objectives. While the story was acknowledged for its emotional power and exploration of mature themes, it did draw a bit of criticism from some people for its lack of focus, for further scrutiny of its second half, an ending that left several plot points unresolved, and this was linked to conclusive evidence of removed content, which led some to suggest that the game was released somewhat unfinished. Significantly different to the previous installments, put it this way. Despite this, Phantom Pain received perfect review scores from several publications and was described by some critics as one of the greatest stealth games of all time. Complete edition that bundles the Phantom Pain and Ground Zeroes together, titled Metal Gear Solid 5, the definitive experience, was released in October 2016. So a bit more on the gameplay. The Phantom Pain is an action-adventure stealth game in which players take the role of Punished Venom Snake for a third-person perspective in an open-world environment. The gameplay elements were largely unchanged from Ground Zeroes, meaning that players will have to sneak from several points in the game world, avoiding enemy guards, and remaining undetected. So that really is the outline of all of those Kojima games. You're unlikely to be using many weapons, but you have to be hiding and making sure that your skill and ability to evade the enemy is always on the cutting edge. Included in Snake's repertoire are binoculars, maps, a variety of weapons, explosives, stealth-based items such as cardboard boxes, and decoys. Following one of the series' traditions, the Phantom Pain encourages players to progress through the game without killing, using non-lethal weapons such as tranquilizer darts to subdue enemies. And that's what we'll do here. Everyone will tell you, when I enter some of the arenas, I'm really your stealth player. I really love and delight in the use of brains in order to, dislodge and confuse the enemy. So this is my style of game, obviously. Players may traverse the game world with vehicles such as jeeps and tanks, in addition to traveling on foot, on horseback, and at certain occasions some mountainous. Occasionally players can opt out also to go rock climbing as a shortcut. So many maps, many different locations as well. They may call for helicopter support against enemy soldiers, or request airstrikes that can bomb the target area or change the current weather. Snake can call on AI companions. They include Quiet, a silent female sniper with supernatural abilities, D-Horse, a horse capable of wearing armor and hiding Snake during travel, D-Walker, a manned, highly agile mobile weapons platform that can provide heavy weapon support, and D-Dog, a wolf pup raised and trained on the new mother base to assist him in the field. The companion's abilities and their effectiveness will depend on the player's relationship with them. There is a large emphasis based on tactics in the Phantom Pain. So anyone who's done the previous games will be very, very familiar with those. As in Peace, players to develop weapons and items from the home base. Recruitment of enemy soldiers and prisoners has also returned for this purpose, allowing the base to grow through organization. The player is given the option to access the base from their real-life smartphones and other devices via a companion app. Unlike in Peace Walker, where players can only see Mother Base from the air, they can control Snake as he explores the complex on foot. The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system, an item introduced into gameplay in Peace Walker, returns as well, with players able to transport captured soldiers and other objects such as animals and vehicles back to Mother Base. Money for upgrading Mother Base's defenses and technology can be all collected from objects found all over the map, such as diamonds, shipping containers and special blueprint boxes, as well as sending recruited soldiers on combat missions around the world. The income is invested in upgrades to the appearance and abilities, weapons and equipment of Snake, his AI companions, and of course, vehicles. For example, Snake's prosthetic arm can be modified with a taser, ecolatic function, or remote controls that allow it to fly as a drone. So think about it. You can just detach the prosthetic arm and then you turn it into a drone. Isn't this fabulous? Thumbs up to Mr. Kojima. Very ingenious. The enemy AI has improved in terms of situational awareness. It means they have really very, very high quality AI. The players frequently use particular weapons or tactics to subdue enemy soldiers. This will see the enemy increase in numbers and be outfitted with better equipment. For example, the frequent use of headshots will see enemy soldiers don metal helmets to make targeting of the head much harder. Well done, the enemy. The game has a difficult dynamic weather system and day-night cycle that runs in real time, which is now very, very common with all of those blockbuster games. The cycle is able to be fast-forwarded when Snake lights a phantom cigar, so it's a type of electronic cigar. A digital silver Psycho Watch panel appears on screen to denote time. The passage of time enables players to analyze the movement of marked enemy forces in the area, such as shifts in central patrols and individual patrol routes. Weather effects such as sandstorms and rain Weather effects such as sandstorms and rain affects the gameplay environment by reducing visibility or masking the sound of footsteps. Game design direction allows the player to choose in what order the story events take place by selecting missions in any order they like, and yet still understand the encompassing message by the end. Mr. Kojima spoke about the restrictive nature of previous Metal Gear Solid titles, saying that they set the player on one rail to get from point A to point B, with a certain amount of freedom between. In stark contrast, the Phantom Pain offers everybody new ways of traversal and sneaking methods, such as taking a motorcycle, plane, helicopter to the mission area. However, usage of the formative vehicles was later dropped during the development. Players are also able to traverse to game world or deploy directly to landing zones that allow for different approaches. A video published after the E3 2015 convention showcased this, with the same mission played 4 times in a number of different ways, with the player opting for stealth, launching a direct assault via helicopter gunship, attempting to assassinate a target with a sniper rifle, and smuggling an explosive device into an enemy base by way of an unsuspecting patrol vehicle crew. The playable world in the Phantom Pain is 200 times larger than that of Ground Zeroes, featuring a variety of climate conditions and environments. This allows the players to freely roam the map while proceeding to either story missions and side quests, as in other games with non-linear gameplay. So we'll have a very good link to the style of gameplay which is present in Destiny as well. In addition, players who have previously played Ground Zeroes are also able to import save data into the Phantom Pain and gain special perks. Multiplayer. Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, includes 2 multiplayer modes. First, the new Metal Gear Online. Just bear with me, I'm having some problems here with some people messaging, and that is really not what I want to see here. I do apologize for this. Some children obviously sending spam messages. I had to inform a moderator to take charge. So, as we said, Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, includes 2 multiplayer modes. First, the new Metal Gear Online, developed by Kojima Productions, newly formed Los Angeles division, also known as Konami Los Angeles Studio. The first footage for multiplayer was revealed in December 2014. While originally set for launch alongside the release of Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Online was postponed to October the 6th for consoles and January 2016 for Microsoft Windows. The second multiplayer mode is an extension of the Mother Base building feature. Players are able to expand their operations to include forward operating base, known as FOBs, which can be used to generate resources and income for the single player campaign. These facilities can be attacked by other players, making player versus player mode available, whereby the attacking team attempts to steal resources and or soldiers, and the defending team tries to protect the FOB from the intruder. Defenders are able to call in on the friends to aid in the defense, especially if the FOB is attacked during a story mission. Players are able to customize the security, staffing, and layout of their forward operating bases, allowing for a large number of combat configurations. Following the success or failure of the intrusion, the location of the attacking player's forward operating base is revealed to the defending player. However, defending players can only launch a retaliatory strike if the attacker was discovered during the infiltration. The forward operating base feature is an entirely separate multiplayer experience to Metal Gear Online, and is also needed to increase the number of combat units the player can deploy. During development, Kojima Productions and Konami attracted criticism for the decision to include microtransactions, a system that allows people to pay for access in order to access content in the game. However, a spokesperson for Kojima Productions confirmed that the system was included to benefit those people who may not have the time to complete the game given its scale and volume, and that no content would be available exclusively through microtransactions. Further controversy emerged following the publication of an early review claiming that the forward operating base mode was behind a paywall, which Konami refuted, saying that microtransactions acted as an accelerator rather than a paywall. As you know, microtransactions are very popular nowadays in many different online games, and as we've seen with Apex Legends in the most recent month, as they introduced Season 1, there were lots of things which you could buy, but none of those are having any impact on the actual gameplay. They're purely cosmetic. And at the time, people were a bit concerned that there may well be some sort of domination or some priority given to certain people who were purchasing any of those transactions online, but that generally is not the case. So coming back to the game development, in February of 2012, a site owned by Konami, Development Without Borders, promoted development for a new Metal Gear title, and the next MGS, the 2012 GDS Pavilion in March, and requested applications for several positions for the latest Metal Gear Solid targeted for high-end consoles and next-generation Fox engine. As the year went on, screenshots and videos of the newly announced Fox engine were unveiled by the team, and this media demonstrated many random settings and characters, although none related to the Metal Gear series. Certain screenshots, however, were noted to feature a character who resembled the big boss character of Metal Gear, walking up to the Striker AFV previously seen in Metal Gear Solid 4. So Konami unveiled Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes at a private function celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Metal Gear series on August the 13th of 2012. The game later made its public debut 2 days later at the 2012 Penny Arcade Expo. Kojima revealed very little detail about the project at the time, other than it was a prologue to Metal Gear Solid 5, and that it would be the first game to use the Fox engine, a game engine developed by the own Kojima Productions. In January 2013, Kojima revealed that Ground Zeroes would be the first title in the series to be subtitled in Arabic, a feature the team had planned for previous games as well. He also confirmed that the length of the cutscenes was reduced, as he believed that long cutscenes had become somewhat outdated. In an interview with VG247, Kojima expressed concerns over whether or not Ground Zeroes would be released. He claimed that his aim was to target taboos and mature themes, which he considered to be overall quite risky, adding that his roles as creator and producer were in conflict with one another. As creator, Kojima wanted to take the risk of exploring themes that might alienate audiences, but as producer, he had to be able to tone down the content in order to sell as many copies of the game as possible. Ultimately, the role of the creator won out, and Kojima described his approach as a prioritizing creativity over sales. And despite Video Game Awards in December of 2012, a teaser trailer for a game known as The Phantom Pain was shown, credited to a new Swedish developer known as Moby Dick Studio, and was described as being 100% gameplay. Allegedly led by Joachim Morgren, the studio's mission statement read that it aimed to deliver an uncompromising, exciting and touching game experience to people all around the globe. After the presentation, commentators speculated that The Phantom Pain was actually a Metal Gear game, noting the protagonist's resemblance to Big Boss, graphics similar to those produced by the Fox engine, the quote V has come to at the end of the trailer, and that the Metal Gear Solid 5 fits in the negative space and indentations of the game's logo when used at the same font. The name Joachim was anagram of Kojima. The domain name for the studio's website had only been registered about 2 weeks prior to the announcement, and that several people wearing Moby Dick Studio shirts were sitting in a VIP area intended for Konami staff. Hideo Kojima stated he was impressed by the trailer and how the Morgren was inspired by Metal Gear. An actor playing a heavily bandaged Morgren appeared in an interview on the March 14, 2013 episode of Game Trailers TV. While stating that he could not reveal many details, he confirmed that more details about the Phantom Pain would be revealed at the upcoming Game Developers Conference, and showed a series of screenshots on iPad to the show's host Jeff Keighley. After Keighley pointed out that the Fox engine logo in the screenshots, Morgan appeared nervous, and the segment then abruptly ended. On March 27th of 2013 at GDC 2013, Kojima confirmed that his studio was behind the trailer, and also announced that Metal Gear Solid 5 would be 2 separate games, not just one as previously expected. Ground Zeroes would now serve as a prologue for the main game, which was officially announced as Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. In other words, the game here, the game which we are going to be indeed playing very, very shortly. He subsequently presented a trailer for the game and showcased the Fox engine. The trailer featured the song Not Your Kind of People from Garbage's 2012 album of the same name. While the official trailer announcing the game was running on a PC, the game was released for the 7th and 8th generations of video game consoles, and in an interview during E3 2013, when asked about a PC release, Kojima stated, "We are making it, and it will be on par with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions." However, he made it clear that the PC port was not their priority. Kojima confirmed that the visuals seen in the trailer look close to those in the final game. He also stated that he would like Metal Gear Solid 5 to be his final Metal Gear game, noting that unlike previous titles where he had announced that he had finished making games in the series, only to return for subsequent games, his involvement with the franchise would be over this time around, and that would be, for the very last time, him being involved with Metal Gear Solid. Although the trailer had Snake suffering from hallucinations in the form of a flaming whale, Kojima assured that there would be a balance in realism. Kojima later revealed that the Phantom Pain was initially presented as an independent game, so as to assess the public and industry response to the Fox engine, as he felt that announcing the game as part of Metal Gear Solid 5 would bias reactions to the engine. On June the 10th, 2013, at E3 2013, a fourth trailer was shown at the Microsoft press conference, demonstrating the new play mechanics as well as the cast of characters. The development of an Xbox One version was also announced at the conference. The PlayStation 4 version was announced the following day when Konami uploaded the red band version of the trailer on the YouTube channel in addition to the standard green band version. The trailers for Metal Gear Solid 5 show the game running on a PC hardware, but according to Kojima, with textures and character models somewhat based on the 7th generation hardware. The developers aim to improve the technical quality for the versions released for the 8th generation of consoles, notably Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro. Kojima alluded to the game possibly being too clear, possibly being too big to clear, adding that the game is 200 times larger than Ground Zeroes. Kojima wanted the player to connect with Snake in the Phantom Pain. To accomplish this, the loss of Mother Base, which the player developed during the Peace Walker, would serve as a motivation for revenge for both Snake and the player. Kojima also tried making Snake relatable to newcomers of the series by making him unaware of what happened in the 9 years during which he was in coma. Weapons, vehicles and other armaments are unlicensed and fictional in the Phantom Pain, just as they were in Ground Zeroes, unlike previous Metal Gear Solid games that included mostly real-world based weaponry. On June the 9th of 2014, at E3 2014, a fifth cinematic trailer featuring Mike Oldfield's song Nuclear was shown at the Sony press conference, unveiling more plot details surrounding the Diamond Dogs and Snake antagonistic descent. It was leaked a day earlier due to an accidental post from Konami's official YouTube channel. Alongside the new trailer, the official site for Metal Gear Solid 5 was updated and then included new information and images such as the development progress of the in-game map and the evolution of Snake's design across all games in the series. In fact, if you're interested, you can just head directly to my Twitter or indeed to my Instagram and you will see that slide. It does have that evolution of Snake from the very, very beginning, the big dotted pixelated Snake, to the state-of-the-art character we have in Metal Gear Solid Play 5 of today. So have a look, head to Instagram, head to Twitter, have a look, give it a like, and indeed familiarize yourself with that lengthy evolution that took place over the period of 25 years. So the game's been with us since, let me think, that would be 1992. And on August the 25th of 2015, Kojima released the launch trailer showing Metal Gear's evolution in harmony with clips from the previous games, along with the reveal of the new Metal Gear Sahelanthropus. And quite frankly, if you're interested, just head to Metal Gear Solid channel on YouTube and you will be able to access those videos. Over $80 million was spent on the development of the game, which means it was neither cheap nor expensive, but still with the ingenious mind of Mr. Kojima and those developers involved, we had the best possible state-of-the-art stealth game produced. So, Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, was released in different editions. Special Day 1 edition of the game for each platform featured downloadable content. DLC vouchers for special weapons, and Metal Gear Online experience points. The North American Collector's Edition, which is available for PS4 and Xbox One, comes with a steelbook and a small-size replica of Snake's bionic arm. It's very, very collectible, very interesting. The premium package for the Japanese release, which was also available on PS4, 3 and Xbox One, features a full-size replica, which was also sold separately in May of 2016. So, you know, you get the full-size replica of his bionic arm, which is quite massive and very, very collectible. If you're interested, just head to Google and type, you know, life-size, full-size prosthetic arm replica, and you get the photographs of it, and of that edition indeed. In fact, I will be posting some of the photographs to my Instagram, so watch this space. And Sony released the PlayStation 4 bundle with the PC release of the Phantom Pain, and includes a CD key and a disc with a Steam installer contained within. Game files are not included in the disc and must be downloaded. It's quite obvious as to why they've done it like that. Metal Gear Solid was a proprietary console game, and generally Mr. Kojima and his studio were always focused on Sony and PlayStation as the major platform for the game's release. They warmed up to Microsoft and Xbox over the years, but as you could see, they were not paying as much attention to PC releases. So the best editions, the ones having all those collectibles and all of those beautiful statues and replicas and concept art and CDs and music and you name it, and the books, steel books, they're all on console. So, tie-in products were also released for the game. Sony Mobile Communications released special edition of Walkman, Xperia Z4, Xperia Z3, Tablet Compact and Xperia J Compact devices, each featuring Outer Heaven emblems, soundtrack audio and wallpapers. Watch manufacturer Seiko who released a digital watch resembling Venom Snake's watch from the game. Eyeglasses maker JF Ray produced the eyewear patent after what Kaz and Ocelot are wearing in the game. Japanese toy company Sentinel, which previously made an iDroid casing for the iPhone 5 and 5S, produced a transformable figure of the Sahelanthropus, while Kotobukaya readied a 1:100 scale kit of the unit. Sports apparel company Puma joined the project through a line of sports jackets, t-shirts, footwear, including Snake's sneaking boots. Square Enix's PlayArts Kai figure line also features several of the game's characters, while Kaido produced Venom Snake and a Soviet Army soldier for the Rebel minifigure category. So, you know, there are also those figurines which you can collect. An art book titled The Art of Metal Gear Solid 5 was published by Dark Horse Comics on November the 2nd of 2016. For anyone who's a great graphic novels fan like myself, you'll be familiar with Dark Horse Comics. And indeed, if you like what you see here on the channel after you watch the game played here with myself and other guys, then you can simply download the Dark Horse app, and instantly you'll be able to download the graphic novels which are Metal Gear Solid related. So remember that, download your Dark Horse app to your tablet, and then you can download all of those comics. Some are for free, the other ones will have free samples, and the rest will be obviously payable, per issue, but they're very, very cheap compared to those offered through high street retailers, so definitely worth a look. A complete edition of the game titled Metal Gear Solid 5, The Definitive Experience, was released for PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Steam on October the 11th in North America, October the 13th in Europe, November the 10th in Japan. The bundle includes the Ground Zeroes prologue, the Phantom Pain in one package, along with all previously released downloadable content for both games. So very briefly, we'll just reflect on, on the sales and reception. Principally, the game has been very, very well received, and many of the industry magazines and portals were labeling it one of the best stealth games ever made. It shipped 3 million physical copies within its first 5 days of release across all platforms. On its release date, the game grossed $179 million, so within 1 day. The Phantom Pain debuted at number 1 on the United Kingdom charts, became the 3rd biggest video game launch of 2015 in the UK, behind Batman, Arkham Knight and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Both of those are very popular, and Arkham Knight is available on PlayStation Now services, so if you're interested, head there. You can play it literally within seconds, whilst The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is offered on discounted rate through PlayStation Store. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a game that I also want to be playing here and streaming, so watch this space, coming soon. I nearly bought it during the latest sales, but then I had chosen some other titles expecting the price to remain the same, and indeed it did not. So I'm still waiting for the price to drop. The best price on the Witcher 3 was £6.95. The Phantom Pain was the most successful launch for the series in the UK, beating the previous record holder, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, by 37%. This was on Xbox 360. The game sold 411,199 physical retail copies, so almost 400,000 physical retail copies on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 within the first week of release in Japan, topping the Japanese software sales charts of that week. So it's almost like 100,000 copies. In the United Kingdom, the game sold noticeably more on the PlayStation family consoles than the Xbox. The reason is very simple. Everyone was obviously used to the game being proprietary Sony game, and people were already in possession of the latest PlayStation console. Therefore, they all went obviously for the game released on PS. And excluding computer sales, the Phantom Pain moved approximately 70% of copies on PlayStation 4, roughly 3 times the amount sold on the Xbox One, which accounted for only 22% of the sales. 3% of sales were on PlayStation 3 and 2% on Xbox 360. By the end of September of 2015, Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, had shipped over 5 million copies worldwide, which had raised over 6 million by December of 2015. So that will conclude our introduction to the game. We will now proceed to the gameplay. I just wanted to say and reflect on these figures. In 2015, the shipping of 3 million physical copies was considered to be a very, very high level of success, and making 180 million a day was seen as obviously incredibly successful in any way imaginable. But when you compare that with Apex being released a couple of months ago and making within 3 weeks 50 million subscribers, that is 50 million subscribers, you can actually see how the video gaming just grew exponentially within that period, and how differently the games are being both offered and presented today within the multiplayer content, within the format of different seasons, and with all other niceties which are included. Most importantly, the niceties of so-called annual pass seasons. You're not getting any more DLC released every 3 months, but you're getting all other things in there, particularly on the games like Destiny, The Division 2, Fallout 76, Anthem, and the game and the world in which the activity exists is then provided as infinite. So you could see, as we are progressing forward, there's more interest for video gaming. The platforms are becoming much more bound together, and particularly with Microsoft working on the new system of cross-platform play for their systems, we are really talking about an unbelievable exponential rise in the near future. So I was actually thinking today to myself, being able to access the games on various platforms and then play them at length is similar to what I used to do as a child when I would go to a library and collect books and read them literally every day, the whole day. The fantasy world gets completely involved with video gaming exercise, and it raises the bar for everyone who's actually working in the industry. You have this enormous quantity of gamers coming in of all shapes, sizes and ages, people from all over the world, with the same kind of expectation for the game to basically detach them from their day-to-day drudgery, from their pressure of paying the bills, from stresses of everyday life, be it in a city or in a small town, and simply to indulge with what appears to be very enjoyable and very far away from everyday reality. So, thank you for listening to this introduction. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you find some interesting facts in there. Some of it will be published on my blog as well, so there will be a release of some of that content as we are always going to be introducing some of our new games to the blog as well, for people to engage 24/7 outside of my broadcasting hours. But you know, we talked a lot. We've seen already that wonderful prologue early on. I wish I could just simply replay it right now. And you know, what we'll do is we'll engage with what we like doing the best, and that is our wonderful, terrific gameplay. The reason I selected the Metal Gear Solid 5 for its debut here on PlayStation Now Presents series is, on one hand, to do with the fact that it is a flagship game of Sony PlayStation. It's one of the first big proprietary games made for PlayStation, and it just excelled in quality episode after episode. It just got better and better. This one perhaps is the very best of all. Secondly, I really like the visuals, and in particular the way this game opens. It is so cleverly conceived, and you have this lengthy prologue. First of all, before you get this menu screen, you get to know that our character Snake is in coma. He has been in coma for 8 years, and he's just about to regain consciousness. We are going to find more facts about this as we progress, because the actual prologue is fairly lengthy. But at the beginning, we listen to David Bowie and his song, "The Man Who Sold the World," and we are just kind of wondering on what on earth is happening in here. We know this is Snake because obviously we played all the Metal Gear Solid games before, but Kojima's idea was actually somewhat different. He wanted people to start the game without knowing at all what happened, and therefore this game is quite different to the rest of the series. The other series always make references to the other activities from, you know, another episode. In this game, there are no references. In actual fact, if you're joining the world of Metal Gear Solid, you can just jump in and enjoy everything that you will see. So it starts from scratch, and you are learning the world and all, you know, that's going on as you carry on. So you will see that as soon as we carry on, that the character has regained consciousness, and he'll be trying to put the pieces of puzzle together to find out what happened to him, as to, you know, how long he was asleep, because obviously for him the experience of sleep was just like a couple of hours, but in fact it has been 8 years. So without further ado, if you're all ready, we are cracking on with what we love the best, and that is our wonderful, beautiful, exciting, mysterious, fiery gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. I apologize, I did not manage to switch my mic off. It really came out so quickly, that sneeze.
Ακούεις με? Ακούεις με? Can you hear me? Are you having difficulty speaking? Can you move your head? Just nod if you can hear me. Look up, please. Very good. How do you feel now? Can you speak? What is your name? When were you born? Can you recall? Please try to relax. There is plenty of time. I need to tell you something. Please listen and try not to panic. You've been in a coma for quite some time. Yes, I know You would like to know how long? I'm afraid it's been 9 years. Damn it! Nosocoma! 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 Nurse! Calm down. Calm down. Try not to panic. Wait a second. Try not to panic. You'll be all right. There now. Just rest.
How do you feel?
From the wreckage, but have stated that the reason for the crash was an as yet inexplicable fire in mid-flight. The search has ended with a confirmed death toll of 94 and another...
It's been 1 week since you came to. Now, let's try getting you out of that bed.
appears to have been the withdrawal of
Nurse.
Soviet Army support, and sources suggest this may be part of a cover-up.
Don't worry. You've lost some strength, but we've been maintaining your muscle mass through massages, CPM therapy, and EMS.
Multiple NATO countries have stated
Now, I need to explain something to you, but you mustn't be alarmed.
they note that their own citizens were among
9 years ago, you were injured in an explosion. Upon examination, we discovered 108 foreign bodies embedded within you. In addition to shrapnel, we also found fragments of human bone and human teeth. Most of it was removed, but some of the fragments still remain. They are located near your heart and in your skull. Look at this. The fragments are lodged deep within your cerebral cortex. We couldn't give you an MRI, the metal, you see. But even if we were to extract it, you would most likely suffer a brain hemorrhage. Mental and physical impairment are unavoidable. However, your current status is not life-threatening. One more thing. This X-ray is on your upper body. You better look now. Best to understand your situation sooner than later. I know it's difficult, but please look down. It's best to see with your own eyes. Be brave. Nosocoma, Grigor! Try to calm down! Calm down! Please! Calm down! It's gonna be okay! Yes, yes! Calm down! Yes. Better. Yes.
Έννεν σε κατάσταση βασική εγχείρηση.
Κάποιος ήδη γνωρίζει ότι έχει ξυπνήσει. Διατρέχει μεγάλο κίνδυνο. Πρέπει να ενεργήσουμε άμεσα. Προετοιμάστε να μια εγχείρηση. Το πιστεύω.
It's true. There are those who wish you would never woken up. You should be dead, but you're not. The wheels are in motion. Your enemies are everywhere. We must alter your appearance immediately. Otherwise, I fear you won't leave this place alive. It's a wide open world out there, so there's something we need to take care of first. I'm going to change your appearance. We have no other choice. What you look like, however...
this is the area which I really like, so I can really customize the character to look, well, as close to myself as possible. And as you can see, we can be looking at the basic face shape, and let's just see. Well, he's quite good, I quite like that. Can choose hairstyle now. We need to find a different sort of hairstyle. This would be a bit more applicable. Eyebrows, we'll find, I think this is quite good, quite like that. Facial hairstyle is as it should be, completely without hair. None hair color. No, we'll go for that, that's fine. Okay, so that's all good. Brows we, I think, did already. That's better. Eyes. Okay, that's good. Vertical. That's all good. Eyelid position. Good. Okay. Number 3. It's funny, but he could actually have, you know, separate colors in each eye, so that's or I should say each eye could have a separate color, so that's good. Nose is perhaps, let's see, Good. So let's see. This is the way I want to be looking as Snake. So this is my new face, as you could see, looking really good. In fact, I modeled him on myself. He looks a bit like me, a bit. The only difference is with his nose a bit couldn't be really shaped up more, but there we are.
Very good. Now let's remove these bandages. Your face has healed nicely. To tell you the truth, these bandages were more for your protection, to hide you from those who want you dead. As of today, your name is Ahab. Forget everything. Your name, your past. This is you, as you've lived until this day. Tomorrow, it becomes a phantom.
Not yet. The patient in the next bed saw my face. Of course. Consider it done.
Okay, have time to go.
What happened to the woman?
The woman? We gave her a light. She took the short way down.
Who are you?
Who am I? You're talking to yourself. Been watching over you for 9 years. You can call me Ishmael.
What the hell is going on?
Well, the good news is, you're in the land of the living. Bad news? The world wants you dead. On your feet, soldier. The whole place is coming down. Need a little pick-me-up? Okay. Here. Nothing like a little digoxin to get you back in the game. Come on!
And as you could see, the game starts from here. This was like a lengthy prologue, and we need to carry on.
Drug's not working. We're getting out of here. Move it.
Let's take the stairs.
Let's hurry.
Hold up, let's fix this. Next time, do it yourself. It's always good to try and mend your injuries while hiding from the enemy. Over there. Let's go.
This way, hurry. Keep your head down.
Don't get caught in those searchlights. Here they come. Hurry. Don't you die on me. Ahab. Ahab.
As you could see, I did not do the right thing, but I couldn't work out with the instructions on what button to press. The key to a successful infiltration mission is ensuring the enemy never discovers you. If an enemy is nearby, avoid his line of sight and stay behind cover as you advance. The lower your stance and the slower you move, it is less likely that you will be spotted. So very, very good tip. Really a bit of tutorial here with hints, and we need to just simply
walk. Press the stance button to stand up.
Before I proceed, I'll have to find out.
Don't get caught in those searchlights. Here they come. Hurry. Now!
Okay, this time I succeeded. We are trying to get away from the baddies. This was successful.
Πάμε γρήγορα. Come on.
Σας παρακαλώ. Τι συμβαίνει? Δεν βλέπω τίποτα.
Δεν ήταν κανένας, θα με σκοτώσουνε.
Ναι, τον είδα πριν λίγο.
What's happening out there?
It's all right. We'll be okay.
I can't see what's happening.
Do you hear that?
What's going on out there?
Hey! Oh, Prosecute!
Hey!
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 I can't see what's happening.
What is that? What's happening out there? Does anybody know?
Hey!
You hear them coming?
Anything?
Negative.
He came in here. Keep looking.
This way. This way. We're sitting ducks. Blend in with the bodies. Get down on your stomach and crawl. If you move, we're done for. Play dead. Freeze. Don't move.
doctor did it. Look at that. And he was gone.
Hold on. We better stop and treat that injury. We'll have to take the stairs down.
As you can see, we are trying to escape the hospital, which has been under a massive attack. I'm really doing my best. Looks like my friend got him. Finally, I feel alive.
Know how to shoot a gun? Hold down the aim button to aim, then press the attack button to fire. Destroy him. Hold on. I'll take the right. You take the left. You can do this. Nice work. Let's go.
As you can see, there are plenty of those brutal enemy soldiers there in the hospital, and obviously the ones are all dead. Already executed lots of medical staff, and evidently they are after us basically. We are the targets.
I'll run interference.
So where's my body? It must have gone out. Okay. Yeah. Steal the ambulance vehicle. Flaming man's back. Look at that. Space Station is here. Hello sir, how are you doing? Thanks very much for joining us. Thanks very much for coming to our first session of PlayStation Now Presents. And this is our first presentation of Metal Gear Solid 5. Very good game indeed. Flaming Man is monstrously strong. We're not going to be doing anything much with the Flaming Man. We want to get out. Sure, I managed to die just within the last second. See us on in.
Move in! Go, go, go!
Well, those creatures are going to obliterate them, needless to say. Chopper does it. I guess they're trying their best, but not succeeding. goodness, look at this. Did I survive? Just about. This is my buddy. I'm saved. The Sony man is indestructible. Very mighty. Look at this. The way they're driving. What a ride. What a ride. And who is alive at the end? I guess there's no helicopter.
Get on! I'm on your side! Hurry! Hurry! Hang
enemy man's
Use
chasing
this.
us. Look
Watch
at
our
this.
backs. Shoot him! Shoot him! Ow! Fire! Careful, that gun's slow to reload. Fire just as he's about to attack! Fire! You get him? We shook him off. You lost your mind! See it! Harbor!
Another. I'm 3/4 dead in there. Prologue, Awakening. Total play time 1 hour 4 minutes. Total play time 10143. Enemy combat alerts, hits taken 20, tactical takedowns, nil, headshots 1, accuracy 54%, neutralizations 8, markings 5. Total of, what is it, 105372. Codename check. Rank A. So these are the scores. Space Ace is asking, have you played the first 4 Metal Gear Solid? I played the first 3. I didn't play number 4. I've got it on PlayStation now, so obviously it will be played very, very soon. And this one I'm playing for the first time. It's the first gameplay tonight. And just to put you into perspective, this is the beginning of my new season of PlayStation Now on my channel. It's called PlayStation Now Presents. And I specifically have chosen Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, because the original was proprietary to Sony. So it's one of those very, very big proprietary games of Sony's, perhaps even the biggest one at the beginning. And I think it is a good opener for that sort of season, don't you think? And we'll have lots of people coming in who love Snake and Metal Gear Solid, and I think it just, compared to the other ones from what I've seen, it really comprises everything from tactical shooter through multiplayer, and then, you know, the RPG as well as stealth. Everything is in it, and a truly wonderful game. And I have to say, for me, what I've just experienced is one of the best, most terrifying, most exhilarating openers of all times. I do not recall any other games opening up like this, and it is truly wonderful. A masterpiece, you know, a masterpiece opener. It's brutal, which is what I do not like, but the way the POV works at the beginning, where I kind of wake up from that coma, Also the way everything kind of unravels with high-paced action, all those ghostly characters, and then the rides, and you know, it's just the stuff the dreams are, or the nightmares are made of. Really astonishing. Can I just ask you, Space Ace, are you also on PlayStation Now services? Are you a subscriber? Because if you are, you can access all the older games in there as well. They have like the HD collection, and they also have Phantom Pain and the other one, you know, so it's just really cool. And they will be probably bringing in the rest as well. It's just a question of when they are likely to remaster them. It's really, really good stuff, and most highly recommend the services for everyone to subscribe to, because obviously once you are a subscriber, yeah, Spacey says I'm not a PS Now subscriber. Well, you know, PlayStation started with the service a bit late compared to Microsoft, and they didn't really provide maybe many enough games initially, but they're catching up, and they're also providing lots of interesting proprietary games, as well as some rarities, the games that are not that common or well known here in the West, you know, the kind of Asian market games, adventures and RPGs and combat games and all that. And in addition to this, they are providing lots of games which are also downloadable, so we can get the highest quality on the console, like for instance this one. Space Ace says, I played through this game and the first 4 and watched Ground Zero and Beast Walker. Well, you are really a true Metal Gear Solid veteran. You played almost everything, and I'm sure that you're equally excited and perhaps a bit impatient about Days Gone. Days Gone, the new Hideo Kojima game that is about to come out this month, and we've seen some beautiful trailers. The latest one was released last week, and we are all really waiting to see what sort of response his first big independent project is going to have, you know, from his friends, fans and followers. And it does look very complex. It does have some aura of Metal Gear Solid. The character looks a bit similar, and you know, he does all kinds of vehicles, goes around and shoots all the baddies. But it does appear to be, from the trailer, a very interesting game comprising open world with FPS, tactical shooter, stealth, RPG, as well as zombie infested areas. So really quite curious to see. And also the open world reminded me a bit of Far Cry 5. Really very interesting combination, you know, from what we could gather so far. And as you said yourself, Metal Gear Solid, a true classic, a true joy to be played, and a game that is highly replayable. You can always come back to it. I mean, with this kind of opening, you can just watch it again and again. It's always going to be as exciting and as interesting. And also the very beginning, you know, which has some aura of Fallout 3, when you kind of wake up and you discover the world, but it's just massively extended, and you get to know everything that happened during those 9 years since you were in coma, and it is truly terrifying. So really, really good stuff. And I guess you are a true Kojima follower as well. And Space Ace is asking me, have you ever played the first two Metal Gear games before the MSG series? Well, the first one I played was Metal Gear Solid as released on PlayStation 1. So this was the first one. I think you're referring to the ones which were made for PC, and I've not played those. In fact, I posted early on, in fact, as we are talking, I can tell you exactly. If you go to my Instagram, which is Daniel Miller Gaming on Instagram, right? If you have a look at it, and very quickly you can have a look, and you will see that I have that evolution slide, and we have the evolution, you know, from the word go. When let me just see, hang on, my phone is a bit delayed. Yeah. If you look at the slide, or you know, the picture which I uploaded, it says 1987 Metal Gear and 1980 Solid Snake. These are the ones that I did not play. 1998 Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1. So I think these ones were on the other console, which is NES, Nintendo. I did have Nintendo at the time, and I've not played Metal Gear Solid then. Be quite curious to see what they're like, but I think the snapshot that I posted on my Instagram, you'll be able to find it straight away if you go to instagram.com/DanielMillerGaming, you'll be able to see it. It has this evolution of Snake character from 1987 on NES, I take it, to the character who we're actually watching right now in the installment number 5 on PlayStation 4 Pro or Xbox One X. So really a fantastic evolution, a very, very good slide, a very good photo of everything that's happened during those 25 years. And really very glad to see that people are loving it and liking it. We have lots of people already looking at it. So that's the score. And Space Ace says the ones that were from the late 80s, early 90s from NES. Yeah, I guess these are the ones. So you must have played also, I just said it, Metal Gear on NES and also Metal Gear's Solid Snake, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, Solid Snake. And then we have Metal Gear Solid 2, we have Metal Gear Solid 3, and then we have Metal Gear Solid, what is it? Yeah, so there's the whole selection of the games following up on that lead. A very, very good slide, you know, because it gives us the entire evolution of 25 years, the character starting out in 1987 and then progressing to this level. And obviously the graphics and the gameplay in here is state of the art. It is very immersive, beautifully designed, and just like I said in my introduction early on, which you perhaps would have not heard if you joined us just within less than 15 minutes, he worked on the artificial intelligence of the enemy. So as we progress with the game, the enemies are going to be finding out what types of methods we are using in order to neutralize them. So they, for instance, if you are shooting at them with sniper, they'll put some helmets on, or they'll start wearing Kevlar, and they will be, you know, appropriately equipped to be contesting me as the stealth sort of enemy coming out of the darkness. And really very, very well developed game indeed. So we've seen the scores. We have our Space Ace here, and thank you very much, sir, for joining. I'm very glad you joined. The debut of Metal Gear Solid today is the beginning of this PlayStation Now series. We are going to be having 2 hours approximately every day on the season. It's going to be run as, you know, kind of television series episodes week by week, and this one is going to be a bit longer, probably about 3 hours. The reason for which is that I had very lengthy introduction, which took up about 45 minutes or so on the history of Metal Gear Solid. So if you're interested, what you can do is, once I've finished my broadcast, all of my broadcasts are archived on YouTube and on Twitch, and you can just access it, and you can access it and listen to it from the beginning, because the first section of this broadcast, the first 45 minutes, was just purely Metal Gear Solid introduction. So there was some bits of trivia in there, and it was just basically a recap on how the game was conceived, how it was released, and all the other details on the sales, on the gameplay, and a few other bits on the music and everything else. Right, so we are excited to find out what is to follow. And I just want to ask Space Ace, you also play the multiplayer in here as well, right? Because when I downloaded the game, I noticed that the special add-on had to be brought in. I downloaded it, and it's just for the multiplayer, and I guess that's going to be happening either separately or at the advanced stage of gameplay, because initially it will be a first-person shooter. And also what I want to say was I selected the game from PlayStation Now because I thought it was a very, very good opener. It was a terrific game, as well as one of those first big games, the proprietary games of Sony PlayStation, and the others followed suit, in the same way as Metal Gear Solid was proprietary to PlayStation. Halo became proprietary to Xbox once released, the Xbox original, and they just followed exactly the same method. The only difference there was that Xbox and Halo were immediately building the community with interactivity online. And I remember when Xbox original was introduced, they said, well, this is both a console and your PC in one. And compared to PlayStation, at that time, PlayStation 1 and 2, they didn't have networking or connectivity to an online community. They said, in here, you join in and you'll build a Halo community, and you can obviously play together and communicate together, and that was all absolutely awesome. That's the history of our beloved consoles. So that is... Hang on a minute. What I want to do is, in fact, I want to save this, and we'll go to next, and we have current heroism of 800, score rating 800, action rating nil. We'll take that as well. So as you can see, we are getting our scores as we pass through certain chapters, as we complete certain sections, then we get to this. So that's really awesome. Right, exit results.
Name's Ocelot. Big boss. You know who I am. A certain man gave me a job to do. Two, actually. First was to get you out of that hospital. The second was to rescue the man himself. You remember? Your partner 9 years ago, Kazuhira Miller. 9 years back, your private army came under attack by Cypher. You were considered dead. Until today, that is, when Cypher found you. And it's not just them. The whole world wants you dead. You'll have to join up with Miller. Build that private army of yours one more time. It's your only chance. First, we need to save Miller. He's in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan?
What, you can't keep up with world affairs in a coma? 4 years ago, the Soviets invaded Afghanistan. The Muslims are fighting back with Western support. Miller was training Mujahideen rebels when he was captured by the Soviets. The Red's 40th Army. Troop strength somewhere around 100,000. The squad holding Miller set off near the Pakistan border yesterday. Now in 3 days, they'll reach the Soviet garrison. They'll be interrogated for a few more days, and it's off to a lager. Or left to rot in a ditch on Afghan soil. I give him 2 weeks. The job didn't mean anything to Miller. He only took it on to keep you safe. Well, there's our ride. It's a whaling ship. Had a pretty good deal on her once the IWC started raising a stink. Now 7 days to Port Qasim, another 3 overland. So we won't have much time once we're there. Don't take too long getting used to your new self. Hang on. Ha!
You could really say that Mr. Kojima is your true auteur in the world of video gaming, and as such, one of the pioneers. He did everything for those games. Everything. So we're entering chapter 1 called Revenge. So it looks like we're going to be traveling to our destination, which is Afghan, I think. We arrived by the looks of it. Muscle's briefing is 1, the man on fire is 1, music tapes 2, obtain cassette tape, and that is okay. So these are the rewards. We got 2 music tapes, the man on fire, and Ocelot's briefing. Press R3 to switch the camera position from right to left when in third person or shoulder view. If you sustain a serious injury, you'll be able to perform certain actions such as climbing over obstacles or getting on your horse. So if you're seriously injured, you cannot do that. If you sustain a serious injury to your torso, you will not be able to recover fully without your first aid. If you sustain a serious injury to your arm, you will not be able to ready a weapon, and in case of your leg, you will not be able to sprint. In these instances, quickly get behind cover and press the action button to perform first aid. So I have to remember, get behind cover, and then action button is basically that triangle. When you ready a weapon, the camera is automatically adjusted so that the vertical points at the center of the nearest target. Also, when you move R, while the weapon is ready, the camera speed is adjusted to enable easier targeting. Okay. This is called auto aim correction, can be turned off in the options section of the pause menu. The viewpoint used when you ready a weapon is shoulder by default. You can switch to first person if you press R1. By enabling the viewpoint remembering function in the options menu, the camera automatically switches to your preferred viewpoint when you ready each weapon. Certain actions, including headshots from outside the weapon's effective range and utilizing enemies through close quarter battles and hold-ups, are counted as tactical takedowns and factored into your score when completing a mission. Be sure to execute as many tactical takedowns as possible when carrying out a mission. The key to a successful infiltration mission is ensuring the enemy never discovers you. If an enemy is nearby, avoid his line of sight and stay behind cover as you advance. The lower your stance and the slower you move, the less likely is that you will be spotted. So stealth is the key in here. If an enemy is about to spot you, a white enemy presence indicator will appear in the direction of the enemy. If located, if you wish to avoid combat, get away from that position, such as carefully crawling away. Do it stealthily as well. If an enemy seems about to approach your position to check where he thinks he saw, allow him to approach and take him down with a headshot. Just be careful not to make any sudden movements such as getting up and running off, as this will give yourself away completely. When infiltrating enemy territory alone, being discovered presents significant risks. Avoid detection by keeping out of sight, staying away from spotlights and using the environment to cover. If you're detected, the enemy will call for reinforcements and attempt to surround you. When choosing to engage in battle, be aware of your surroundings and change position often to avoid being flanked. If enemies lose sight of you, they will focus on your last known position. If you wish to avoid battle, an effective strategy is to get as far away from the position as possible. You can check from your last known position on your Datus device map. You can place markers of enemies, prisoners, or vehicles to mark a target. You can zoom in on it or simply kept it in the middle of the screen while in shoulder view or first person view. You can also mark targets from a distance by using binoculars or a weapon scope. Markers can be placed freely on any location. To place more markers, place L2 while using binoculars or X while viewing the map on your iDroid data device. So you can be marking everything. You can increase the maximum number of markers you can place by upgrading your iDroid data device through R&D. Okay, so we are going to be resuming game. Episode 1, Phantom Limbs.
The area ahead is under total Soviet control. Miller's been captive for 10 days. Not much time left.
Weather will clear shortly.
Storm's passing. Getting used to it?
This is the territory, as you can see, very difficult.
After 9 years on ice, the solo infiltration of the Soviet main ground forces should be the perfect warm-up. Kazuhira Miller is being held in Dawandehar to the north. Check its location now. Take out your iDroid.
Okay, so we need to check this.
Boss, take a look at your iDroid. Boss, take a look at your iDroid.
So how do we activate it?
Boss, take a look at your iDroid. Boss, take a look at your iDroid. You see Wandy on the map? That's where they're keeping Miller. Only problem is, we don't know his exact location. Finding it is your first priority. Go ahead and close the iDroid.
Place the mark on the
Boss,
map.
put the iDroid away for a moment. Got your binoculars? Or should I say, your int scope? See the village? Straight ahead? Take a look through your binoculars. All right, that's the village. If you see something through the binoculars and you need more information, just give me a call. I'll tell you anything I can about it.
Yeah, long tap intel support, cool.
Take a look through your binoculars. Look directly at the village and press the call button. That's Violo Village, the Violo Calais. The villagers fled the war and evacuated a while back. Since then, it's become a base for the Soviets' 40th Army. A few days ago, Miller was taken through there, en route towards Dehar. You may be able to pick up the trail there. It's worth a shot. Put a marker on it so you don't lose track of where it is. Take a look through your binoculars. Take a look through your binoculars. Something wrong? Put a marker on the village, boss. Take a look through your binoculars. Take a look through your binoculars. Something wrong? Put a marker on the village, boss. Good. Now you won't have to worry about getting lost along the way. You can't have much left in him. I give him 3 days, tops. If we fail, and he dies, we lose our chance of revenge. But we need more intel. If you just go charging into Dehar, you'll be putting both your lives at risk. See what you can find out first. The Soviets have other outposts, not just the one you saw. Afghanistan is a big place. I expect you'll become quite familiar with those binoculars as you plan your next move. How and where you make it, well, that's up to you. From here on out, you're on your own. You're a legend in the eyes of those who live on the battlefield. That's why you have to handle this mission yourself. Put those 9 years behind you, and return as Big Boss. That's how Koss would want it. I'll be sending additional intel by radio. Stay sharp. Not one of Miller's bodyguards survived. And they were good. All we found on the scene were their corpses and knees. They'll be missing them. And you're his only hope of getting them back. Now go! Let the legend come back to life.
So as you could see, we are going to be proceeding with the first mission, and I think this is going to be then the end of this broadcast, the first debut broadcast of PlayStation Now Presents. And so far so good, really very, very enjoyable. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hold it. There's a Soviet guard post. There are bound to be guards. Take a look with your binoculars. Put the enemy in the center of your field of view. That's marking. Focus on the thread and it'll be marked automatically. You can mark enemies and vehicles by zooming in with your binoculars or camera. Once they're marked, you'll also see their positions on the map. Security at that guard post is relatively light. Looks like the perfect place for a warm-up. Try to remember the ways you used to deal with enemies. Anytime you need advice, just give me a call.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't leave bodies out in the open. Find some place to drop them out of sight. Sight, sound, keep all your enemy senses in mind. When you're near an enemy, stay low and move slowly.
His weapon was here, so can we pick it up? Of course we can. We definitely want that automatic weapon.
sun's down already. It goes without saying that darkness is good for infiltration. But your vision will be affected just the same. Keep your guard up, or who knows when you'll bump into an enemy.
Suppressor. Okay.
Whoa, whoa! Yeah.
No, we didn't have anything else. In fact, this section reminds me a bit of Red Dead Redemption. You know, riding a horse and the environment.
You're almost at the enemy outpost, Vialo Village. The village is crawling with enemy soldiers. Don't just go waltzing in. Start with some recon. Is there anywhere that overlooks the village?
So you can see there's a turret in there. And there's a soldier, but you're better off just crawling. Suppressor is on as well, so that's good. That should be useful. Doesn't seem to work from there.
Your suppressor is no longer effective. Bear in mind your weapon will be loud from now on.
Понял. Всем подразделениям. У нас могут быть нарушители. Конец связи.
There should be a command post somewhere. See any buildings with tighter security? If there are clues to Miller's whereabouts, I'll bet you can find them in there.
Понял. Будьте начеку. Выкурите врага. Конец связи. Find cover and use first aid.
Don't see any enemy out there. Okay.
Looks like the enemy's lost sight of you. They're gonna try to hunt you down. Parabolic antenna. There could be intel files of some kind in there. Это КП, понял. Будьте очень внимательны. Реагируйте на каждое движение. Конец связи.
Огонь!
Those materials are already processed. They should come in handy sooner or later. Why not start gathering them?
Anything coming in there?
Это КП, понял. Будьте начеку. Выгрузите врага. Конец связи.
Still there. Well, I didn't really want to do that. What I want to do was just to, put in some out of sight, like behind the building. Here, for instance, right? And then that point is captured. So I've got a few guys in here who that could be also brought to another location. Oh, there was a more thing I didn't see. Okay, never mind. The other guy as well. Just remember, if you move those guys to another location, hide them, then it's less, likely that you'll be detected. Okay. So where's that we need to go? Turret now. It's the one I used already, I think.
Это КП, понял. Последующие потери неприемлемы. Держите ухо востро. Конец связи.
There's some enemy in there. Always use your binoculars, they say. So. Okay. Yeah, progressing. Well, this is the route. I have to say that really this section is very reminiscent of Red Dead Redemption 1. What's that? Lights. No, you know full well that walking on a road is just definitely a non-starter. Where is it? There's anything in there. Two of them. Okay. Probably have to neutralize them as well. Okay. Okay, we can just drop them in here. Very similar to Splinter Cell as well. Tin cassette. Always want to check this out. Logical material. Collecting a tool. Yeah, I was probably racing a bit, going up to the destination without looking, you know, for clues and other things, and then just maybe collect a few things there in the other brightly lit building. Oh, there's a baddie now, I think. Several baddies. Let's see. One. There's another one, two. Oh, he's still not there. Oh, he's still alive, okay. Alright. Attracting more enemies. too many baddies in there because I wasn't playing stealth. But you know, it's the first gameplay on Metal Gear Solid 5, so I'm also learning. Materials recovery. Okay. Certainly some guys in there to checkpoints.
It's an enemy guard post. Watch yourself.
Fortunately, I don't have any ammunition for that weapon. Okay. Okay, we picked up the tapes, we picked up ammunition, we picked up everything. So let me see.
Planning to walk the whole wilderness on foot? Use your horse.
So wait a minute. Okay. And the horse was nearby, so that was pretty good. But you know, the trouble is, if you are traveling in a horse, you are more easily spotted. So I prefer doing it on foot. But because I'm pushed for time, I will do it on a horse.
Whoa, whoa!
Have a look. So we're very near the destination by the looks of it. So, let's just finish off the
You've
mission.
reached one day. Miller is being held somewhere in that town, but we don't know exactly where he is. You can keep gathering intel or make an entry into the town now. It'll be dawn soon. Your surroundings will be easier to see, but that goes for the enemy as well. The guard detail in Soviet outposts changes in the morning too. Watch yourself. Contact with the target now. Hold off until the heat has died down.
God.
No more use for me, huh?
Gaz, it's me. I'm here to get you out.
Snake.
They do something to your eyes?
No, it's just bright is all.
I'll be rescuing another Miller out there. It's funny, Miller rescuing another Miller. ×2. Square Miller.
What took you so long?
We'll talk, but not here.
You've secured the target. I'll send the chopper to get you out. Make your way to the RV. You can check the location on your iDroid.
Hasn't slowed you down one bit. Not so heavy anymore, right? Magic words, boss. I've been waiting 9 years to hear them. Kept you waiting, huh? Come on. Say it for all time's sake.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is P-Quad. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Okay, looking good. Chopper's up there, come on, leg it, double it.
Ahab, do you read me? This is P-Quad. There's a gas covering the LZ. We can't land. Pulling back.
Gas. It's them. Boss, watch out. It's the skulls. Don't let them find us.
Boss, whatever that mist is, it's all around you. We can't see through it. I'm changing the RV so it's outside the mist. Get over there. The chopper will be waiting. You're leaving the mission area. You're not giving up, are you?
Yeah.
The mist is cleared, and it looks like they're gone.
Those things. That's the unit that attacked us before. They came at us real fast in the same kind of mist. Our men, survivors from 9 years ago, were wiped out in minutes. I don't know what they want, but it's them. No mistake.
There we are, completed. these are our scores. We got another trophy, Phantom Limb. Total play time 2 hours 37 minutes. Enemy combat alerts 10, hits taken 120, headshots. So we got all the stats in here. Looking quite good. Rank C. I didn't really provide much stealth really. I was engaging the enemy, and that's because I'm a bit pushed for time. Otherwise I would have been playing very stealthily. No retry 6000, so that's good. No kills nil, no reflex, no enemy combat alerts. Well, obviously you get the best results if you don't kill anyone and you just literally sneak in. So we can always replay it. That's the beauty of Metal Gear Solid. Always interesting, and you know, great great game in every way imaginable, as you could see. And okay, so we've got this recorded. Next we see 1-to-1 700. So GMP balance, mission clear, forward 80,000, 441 500, rough diamonds nil, animals rescued, battery power, total expenses nil, total nil, 121 700. Okay, we'll record that, and then we can go to next. Gone up, so 1310, score rating 200, action rating 310. Record that as well. So that is good. Exit results. And basically what we'll do is we are going to be ending our broadcast for tonight. Hope you guys really enjoyed what you've seen. Okay, we got this as well.
We're headed for the station. That's where our new home is now. Hey. That was some operation we had, huh? 9 years ago. Carving out our own world. Making our own future. And they took it away. I'm gonna rebuild it. Make a new place. Together. That we can call home. Yeah, we were dogs, all right. Slinking around, out of Cypher's sight. Digging up whatever kind of dirty money we could find. You name it. We did it. You see this? Diamond Dogs. Our new home. The phantom of our former selves. Triumph. Death. We weren't allowed either. Yeah. I remember it all. Snake. Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg, my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost, the comrades I've lost, won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you? I'm the one who got caught up with Cypher. A group above nations, even the US. And I was the parasite below, feeding off Zero's power. They came after you in Cyprus. In Afghanistan. Cypher just keeps growing. Swallowing everything in its path. Getting bigger and bigger. Who knows how big now? Boss. I'm gonna make them give back our past. Take back everything that we've lost. And I won't rest until we do.
Approaching Mother Base.
Our new Mother Base. I don't know how long it'll take, but I'll make it bigger. Better than before. God. What should I do? Boss? Tell me. Tell me like you used to.
Okay, we're not gonna go through that. Come to the end of our broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us today for this premiere of PlayStation Plus Presents. Indeed, we had a wonderful evening of Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, and as you could see, we completed the Chapter 1 and Prologue. It was very, very exciting, very enjoyable, and indeed very, very entertaining for everyone. So thank you for coming. The Metal Gear Solid World will continue tomorrow, and we'll have one session of PlayStation Now Presents every single day. It will be basically, and it will be usually for about 2 hours. Today was a bit longer, it was a premiere, and indeed we had a lengthy introduction on Metal Gear Solid makers and all related. So, thank you for coming, hope you enjoyed our firefights and this wonderful, wonderful PlayStation Classic, and I hope to see you all tomorrow, and I wish you all a very, very good night.